Welcome to this week's virtual Drasha. This week we have the incredible privilege to read Parshas Vayikra, and of course not just read Parshas Vayikra, but begin Chumash Vayikra. And the truth is, Chumash Vayikra is very different. It's different than Bereshis, different than Shmos. In Bereshis we have the incredible opportunity to read the story of creation, to read the story of the Avos and the Imos. And in Chumash Shmos we read about, again, first Egyptian servitude, enslavement, emancipation, freedom, Sinaitic revelation, Matan Torah, the miracles of the desert. Then we get to Chumash Vayikra, and Chumash Vayikra is saturated with the sacrificial law. Anything and everything one ever wanted to know about Karbanos is contained in Chumash Vayikra. And it's difficult and it's challenging. It's challenging because as important and as central as we know that sacrificial law is to Yiddishkeit, to halacha, to Jewish life, in the absence of a Beis HaMikdash, it's hard for us to relate to it. In Meretz Hashem, we'll have the third Beis HaMikdash from Hey Rabbi Yameinu. We'll have the opportunity to bring Karbanos. The Kohanim will have the opportunity to go ahead and offer up the Karbanos. And then, of course, it goes without saying that these halachos will spring back to life with relevant vitality. But the truth is, we come to it on a Shabbos like this, we look at it, and we're just not immediately sure exactly what to do with it. In other words, what's the lesson? What's the meaning? What is it that I'm supposed to take from it? And in Hasidic literature, in the Svarim, these technical details are explained to highlight and to really promote and to give us incredible life lessons, contemporary meaning. And I want to share with you one such example. Second pasuk in the parasha. This is in Perek Aleph, pasuk Beis, chapter 1, verse 2 says as follows. Kadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, speak to the Jewish people and say unto them the following: Adam ki yakriv mikem karban laHashem. When a person amongst you will offer up a karban to Hashem, mina behema, you have to offer up a karban from animals. Mina bakar and mina tzon takriv karban chem. Offer up your karban from bakar, from cattle, from tzon, from sheep. Shall you offer up your karbanos? A very simple, straightforward pasuk. Yet the great tzaddik Rav Shlomo of Radomsk explains that embedded in this pasuk is the very secret of life success. The Rebbe says as follows. Here's how the Rebbe looks at the pasuk. Dabra b'nei Yisrael. Kadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe to speak to the Jewish people. The Amartalim say to them, Adam ki yakriv mikem karban laHashem. What's the shoresh of the word? What's the root of the word karban? It's karov. It's to become close. Remember again, the whole reason we offer up a karban is to establish a sense of connection, a sense of closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So says the Rei Tzaddik of Radomsk, what's the pasuk telling us? Adam ki yakriv mikem karban laHashem. There's going to come a point in time where a person is going to want to be a karban. Adam, a person, ki yakriv mikem, will want to offer up of himself karban, a sense of closeness, karov to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Meaning what? There comes a point in life where a person says that, you know what, I'm tired of having a long-distance platonic relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I want to be close. I want to be connected. I want to feel that sense of spiritual intimacy. I'm so tired of being distant. I want to be karban. I want to be karov. So a person will have this epiphany, a person will have this awakening, this isorus, and suddenly they want to be a karban. I want the kirva, I want the closeness. Well, how do you get it? So what's the first step? What do I have to do? And says the Rebbe, the pasuk tells us, Mina behema takriv ves karbanchem. If you want to learn how to become a karov, if you want to learn how to become close, you can learn from the animal. And the Rebbe goes on and he explains as follows. Imagine for a moment a person has a sheep, and he wants to offer up this sheep as a karban. So what does he do? What's the process? It's very simple. You take the sheep and you say, Hare zu karban. This animal, it's a karban. And suddenly, poof, it's a karban. A moment before it was just a regular mundane sheep. And now, it's a karban. And now it's kodesh. And by the way, now there's a whole set of halachas that regulate how you interact with that animal. Right before you went ahead and you designated that sheep as a karban. You want to go ahead and use its wool to make a coat, no problem. You want to shecht it and eat it for dinner, no problem. You want to keep it as a pet and run around with it, no problem. But once you go ahead and you say harezu karban, so suddenly this animal is endowed with a heightened level of sanctity. Suddenly, again, it's hektish. It belongs to the Beis HaMikdash. It's the property of the Ribono Shel Olam. Suddenly, there's a whole bunch of halachas which govern how you interact with the animal. And what happened? What changed? Says the Rebbe of Radomsk, the only thing that changed was a verbal articulation of intent. I said, Harezu Karban. I made a declaration of intent. This animal is no longer going to be a regular animal. Now it's going to be a Karban. And with that simple declaration of intent, the entire identity of the animal changes. Listen to what the Rebbe writes. The Rebbe says, if it's true for an animal, Kol Shekain Imu Korei Al Atzmo, all the more so, says the Rebbe, if I make a personalistic verbal declaration of intent, I make a declaration about myself. What's the declaration? Hareini mekabel alai lihios kodesh laHashem mehayom v'hala. I articulate my intent to be kodesh, to be holy to Hashem from this day forward. Masha haya haya. I have to let go of the past. What was. Mikan ve'elech hareini kadosh laHashem. From this moment forward, I am kadosh. And says the Rebbe, if a verbal articulation of intent works to transform a mundane animal to a consecrated item, then an articulated verbal declaration of intent that I want to be holy, that I want to be different, that I want to be better, that I'm ready to let go of the past and start living the present and paving the way for the future, that mere declaration catapults me to a new level. Says the Rebbe, that's the pshat in the pasuk. Kadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe Rabbeinu, talk to Klal Yisrael, Dabra b'nei Yisrael, Amarta, say to them, Adam ki yakriv mikem karban laHashem. If a person has an awakening, a spiritual epiphany, and they want to bring a carbon from themselves, they want kirva, they want closeness, they're tired of being distant, I want to be close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do you do it? Step number 1, Mina behema takriva es karbanchem. You can actualize your personal closeness if you follow the same model as the animal. The animal's Kedusha begins with a verbal declaration of intent. My pathway to spiritual closeness to God begins with a verbal articulation of intent. What the Rebbe is teaching us is something so incredibly profound. Sometimes we think that the pathway to holiness is paved with dynamic activity. What am I going to do? What should I take on? And of course, there's no question, you need dynamic activity. But the first step is an articulation of what do you want out of life? What do you want? Do you want to be kadosh? Do you want to be karov? Who do I want to be? What do I want to grow into? Where do I want to go? The mashal I often give for this. I'm sure I've said it a number of times, even in the virtual drasha, which is, imagine for a moment, again, you've taken off a couple of days from work and you're going on vacation. And you pack up the car and you pack up the luggage and you've got enough food for a small nation, right? And you're ready to go, right? The gas tank is full, everything is fantastic. The sun is out, beautiful. You get in the car, family's there, Meretz Hashem, you're driving, you get onto the turnpike or the beltway, depending on where you are, right? And you just start driving and it's fantastic, it's gishmak, it's great. Only one problem, you realize, oh, you know what? We never chose a destination. You say to yourself, crazy. How can you go on vacation without a destination? You're right. And if you can't go on vacation without a destination, you certainly can't live life without a destination either. Or at least, I can't lead a meaningful, impactful life without a destination. See, this Rebbe of Radomsk is teaching us that the first step to becoming a karban, the first step to becoming karov, the first step to becoming kadosh, to becoming holy, is not something you do, but it's an articulation of who do you want to be? What do you want out of life? Hareini karban, ribono shel olam, hareini mekabel alai. I hereby accept upon myself lihios kodesh laHashem mehayom v'hala. It starts with a declaration, Hashem, I want to be holy. I want to be halig. I want to be different. I want to be better. I want to be greater. I want to figure out what I'm capable of. I want to figure out what my kolchos are. But what I know, and I don't even know what everything is, all I know is that I want more. And I want to be more out of life. And if that declaration works to transform a mundane animal to a consecrated item, then alachas kama v'kama, it works for me. But there's one more piece, says the Rebbe. You also have to have the courage to say, Masha haya haya. Sometimes in life you have to let go of the past. You have to let go of the past. Because so often when we try to get good traction in life, we're held back by the disappointments and the failures of the past. part of this verbal articulation of beautiful spiritual intent is the willingness and ability to say, Masha haya haya, what was. I can't do anything about that now. But all I could say in this moment, Hareini mekabel alai, I hereby accept upon myself, lios kodesh lashem, to be holy to God, mehayom v'hala, from this day going forward. Make that declaration and change your life going forward. And it's incredible that we're learning this concept on the eve. I'm recording this Drasha too on the night of Rosh Chodesh Nisan, a new month, a beautiful month, a month of Geula, a month of redemption, a month of salvation, a month of incredible love that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has towards us. And the beauty of Rosh Chodesh is not just a simple new beginning, but it's also the ability to say Masha haya haya. Last month is last month. It's done. Maybe it was good, maybe it wasn't good. Either way, it's done. But there's something new. There's something beautiful ahead of me. It's an unwritten future. It's an unwritten destiny. And I can make of it what I want. All I need to do is begin this month of Nisan, go into this first Shabbos of Nisan with the articulated verbal declaration. Say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, here's what I want to be. I want to be Kadosh, I want to be holy. I don't even know fully what that means, but I want to tell you that I want it. And I want that from this day forward. It's Rosh Chodesh. The old month is the old month. Adar is Adar. Hopefully it was a month of Simcha, month of incredible Chashuv, month of beauty. But even if it wasn't, Masha haya haya, whatever was. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I enter into this new month of Nisan. I enter into this new Chumash of Vayikra. And if the verbal declaration of intent could transform the mundane animal into something special and halig, then I know it could do the same for me. Hareini mekabel alai. Ribono shel olam, I hereby accept upon myself to be holy from this day forward. Masha haya haya, what was. But from this point forward, Hareini kadosh laHashem, the first step in our pathway to becoming a beautiful carbon, to establishing beautiful closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Halavai, we should be zocha to formulate the declaration, to make the declaration, and to begin our journey to coming close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Wishing everyone a good Chodesh and a beautiful Shabbos Kodesh.